My name's Sam Leamy. Welcome to the Third Touch Soccer Podcast. I'm here with
Sam Leamy, yo.
Connor Walsh and Michael McLaughlin. How you doing, knobheads?
All right.
Good.
Yeah,
Just watching.
just all right.
Just watching Arsenal versus Red Star right now, so it's about as good as you can be. Is all right.
How you doing, Mike?
Good. What's Red Star?
Red Star Belgrade, bro. Former relevant European club.
Legend Club.
Legend.
Yeah, move that microphone around, Mike.
Do you want me to move it?
Everyone's
complaining about my microphone.
I just have one question.
What?
Where the shit have you been? Like, where the crap have you been these last few weeks?
Where the shit have you been? I was away. I was in the West Coast, dude. I'm bi-coastal now.
Yeah.
Oh.
How was the West Coast?
It was awesome. It was great. I don't know why we live in New York.
Really?
Yeah, it was so nice.
No, it has to get old living there, though. Just like the people there and the weather, it has to get old, man. I
was in San Fran. I loved it, and then I was in LA, and I liked LA. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna hate LA."
No, I've been to LA. I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was like I was at the beach, and then I was doing the other stuff. I was doing the other stuff I needed to do. It was great.
So you bypassed the San Jose game, the last game of the regular season, where they scored a last-minute winner to make the playoffs, and then instantly got knocked out of the playoffs. Destroyed.
I tried to sell it to my sister lives in San Fran. I tried to sell her on the idea of going there, but instead she signed me up for a Barry's boot camp class. So we did that.
Barry's?
Yeah, it's like some. It's like something where you like go on a treadmill and this lady yells at you, and then you go over and you work out with like weights, and like there's a woman with like a bar mitzvah, DJ microphone walking around like, "Come on, everybody,"
like a 1980s headset motivational video.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Was it outside, outdoors?
No, it's all indoors, and it's like crazy music, and there's like 40 people, and you're trading spots with the other person, and it's really intense, and it makes you, it does all that stupid CrossFit shit where you feel like you have to be competitive.
Whoa, stupid CrossFit shit.
I mean, my bad, dude. I love a box, and I love a wall.
You're late. Now I'm going to miss the 6 p.m. class. But do you have a good Halloween?
We got to wrap this soccer podcast up.
Do you guys, all for CrossFit. Do you guys have
Sam's got to hit the Scotty. I don't know. It's got a name for their dumb wads. This one's called.
Yeah, it's like death by wall ball or something like that.
Yeah. No, I thought they have names instead. What are you doing today? You doing AMRAMPs?
No, they have names. They have they have female names and male names for the workouts. Some like
it's like a hurricane.
No, like Ashley, Grace, whatever, Andrew, shit like that.
It's funny you said Ashley first, huh?
There you go. Shout out to Grace. You guys have a good Halloween. Halloween was 2 days ago. Trick or treating. Do you guys get any candy? Eating a lot of candy? Sweets, as we say in England.
Yeah, I've been slamming candy. I don't really eat sweets, but this has been a pretty disgusting last few days. But I was working for the NYCFC Columbus game at the bar.
Yeah.
Decent little turnout. It was fun. It wasn't fun, but it was good. It was a good game, I guess, for the neutral.
Good Halloween, Mike?
Yeah, it was great. Except a lot of kids didn't come. I had a big bowl of Reese's peanut butter cups and tons of candy, and a lot of kids didn't come, so I ate. I ate a bunch of candy.
I mean, you got your favorite candy.
I like chocolate.
There wasn't many kids. I don't think that when I got home from work around 6:45, it was slammed, and then as soon as my son got dropped off, it just cleared out. But it doesn't seem like there was a ton of kids like there were like 10, 15 years ago.
It's much earlier. It's like 3 o'clock to like 5:30, I think, is now. I don't know.
Yeah.
How we were kids, we used to run around and be, at 11, 12 years old, I would just go do my own thing with my friends.
You start egging houses.
Yeah, egg houses. Some weird random old guy picks you up in his car. You black out, and then you come to, and you got more candy than you had before. You're like, that was worth it.
You probably knocked on my house, right? Back in the day, you probably came down, John David.
I did. I would go down to that little league and go around there, but that was always rough.
No, I moved house. Remember?
Oh yeah, no, I never went over there. I never where you're at now. No.
Anyway, sorry guys for the lack of content in the last couple of weeks. We do have a jam-packed show for you today. We're going to catch up on the U17 World Cup, which England successfully won their second World Cup of the summer youth tournament. We're going to jump on the Champions League gravy train for a little bit. Looks like the excitement's back in that tournament. MLS season has finalized. We're kind of not deep into the playoffs, but the first round of playoffs are going on right now. And then we'll touch base on all your fantasy players, teams, and points. So, back to the U17 World Cup. England did knock the United States out in that quarterfinals a couple of weeks ago. We discussed it a little bit. I know you boys lose interest as soon as the United States get knocked out of any tournament, anything.
Pretty bold statement.
Dude, you stop watching. How much of the World Cup did you watch after the United States get knocked out?
The real World Cup?
The
Dude,
U17
once we're
World
down,
Cup.
once we're down by 2 goals, I just turn it off, and I forget that even happened. I'm like, what? No, I didn't watch. I just don't. I want to watch it, but it was so early in the morning, you know. So it's like,
Well, I mean, it was 10:30, Mike.
oh, that game was. I don't know, man. My life just took over. But no, I watched some of it. I watched England, and I rooted for England because of the the what is the modus tollens? No, what is the
Foden?
what is the associative property? What is if A plus B? If A is better than B and B is better than C, then you know whatever.
Okay, all right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck I was just trying to say. But
Mike's
I
on
like it that
fire
England
today.
won. I like it that England won because then USA.
Oh, it
are the
doesn't.
second
Yeah,
best.
okay, yes. Okay, it doesn't make
Yeah.
USA look as shit if
Yes.
England win. Yeah, you always want the
Connor,
team.
you feel that?
You always want the team because you can go back to your friends and go, yeah, I did well in the tournament. I lost against the guy who won it all, so you know I'm second in the whole thing. Even
Like
though
literally, if we were on the different side, we would have made the final. I do believe that. I'm dumb.
No, I don't know. I think there is something to that, though, as just a fan of a underdog, I guess, that, you know, if someone does something good and you lost to them, that it gives you some validation. But shout out to England. I watched the last, like, half hour right as the comeback was, like, mid-comeback. It was a
you
pretty...
watched the whole game.
The final, because I worked the night before, so I was waking up early, or later.
How good is this England squad? Because they were down 2 goals, right?
That's a good question. I mean, going back to the
5-2.
USA-England game, 4-1, the scoreline didn't really tell the whole story of the game. I thought it was a pretty even game. I just think England were very clinical throughout the tournament. Brewster finishing the tournament with 8 goals, was it? 2 hat-tricks in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals against USA and Brazil, respectively. I thought the difference is at that age group, the finishing. I mean, England were clinical. USA created a lot of chances. They hit the post, couple of good saves, missed opportunities towards the late stage of the first half when they were 2-0 down after those 2 early goals. I thought they did really well to get back in the game. And physically, they matched up with England very well. Just England just showed a little bit of class in the last third.
And in these youth tournaments, and I feel like just from watching the under-20 World Cup and then the under-17 World Cup this year, and especially the lower in age you go, I feel like the more clinical your players are is what really separates teams. Because for the most part, the games are open. You're not having any like games that are bogged down in the midfield, like a real clinical like Champions League game. It's all about who can finish because the games are back and forth. And the U.S., despite England winning 4-1, U.S. had their chances, and then England just is a step above them on few positions, few players. So that's shown, and that's why the game was 4-1.
Yeah,
but
a lot of the game isn't played in that middle third. It's either the 2 end thirds there, and that's where the clash was shown from England. But yeah, looking back at the game and what I remember from that game, there was a lot of pressure that the United States did put on England, and they were under pressure for long periods of that game.
Yeah,
I think statistically, didn't U.S. have more possession? I thought. I might be wrong on that.
I don't know.
I think it was a much more even game than you think. It's just Brewster got those 2 goals really before the 20th minute, I believe. In those youth games, you give up a goal, it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so surprised England actually came back and beat Spain, because once you're down a goal and then 2 goals in the youth game, you're like, oh, this is over. It's going to be 4-0 to Spain.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the semi-final game against Brazil, and technically player for player matchup, but you could see that typical Brazilian flair style that they play all throughout their teams from youth level all the way to the senior team. You could see technically they are better than England, but collectively England have shown a huge amount of promise in these 2 tournaments, the under-20 World Cup and the U17 World Cup that's just passed in India.
Did you win the U20 or you just made the final?
Won the U20. It beat Venezuela in the
Wow.
final. Yeah,
That's right. You beat Venezuela. That's why Venezuela was killing it in the
Yeah.
Wow.
Shut them down. So how good is this England team?
Golden generation?
Once again, another golden generation for the Three Lions.
We'll see. I mean, it's all down to the opportunities they're going to get at their senior team. Brewster at Liverpool. I mean, we've seen Solanke from the U20 team have a few minutes for Liverpool this season. Foden. I think Pep Guardiola was quoted, if England win the World Cup, the U17 World Cup, he's promised to play Foden in future games this season.
I know Brewster's gotten a lot of the hype because of the
amount of goals.
The amount of goals, especially they're all scoring the knockout rounds.
Yeah.
And he was, he's been like more or less the talk of the team, but just from, reading the tweets, stuff on Twitter from all the English pundits, Phil Foden was the heart and soul of that team.
Absolute heartbeat of that team.
Yeah, the Manchester City.
And they lost
products.
Sancho as well for Dortmund. The best player, was rated the best player, went back to Borussia Dortmund just after the group stage.
Dortmund probably should just call that kid up at this point.
He played. He actually played some minutes a couple of weeks ago. That's why.
He did.
He
didn't play. He didn't play in the Champions League yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry. But how good are these England players? Only time will tell. And England youth players struggle to get in their senior team because these foreign managers aren't playing them. And I heard something very interesting the other day, is that these foreign managers are under so much pressure. Let's look at Antonio Conte for Chelsea. Flying high last year, won the league. Now he's under pressure in his job. I think he's one of the top favourites managers to get dismissed in the next few months. What it is, managers are at their clubs and at these big clubs for such a short period of time. Why would they risk a very young, inexperienced player when they can go for that? I know this guy. He's someone I put a lot of trust into because my job's going to be on the line. If Pep Guardiola starts playing Foden for Man City and they draw a game because of a Foden mistake or they lose a game, now he's going to be under pressure.
Should these big clubs could these big clubs create Manchester City too, kind of as Barcelona?
Well, they
and
have
Bayern?
the under 23s, but the thing is, you see someone like Alex Ferguson, or we're seeing it with Tottenham Hotspur now, Pochettino, where he's putting trust in Harry Winks, Trippier. He's seen these guys from 17, 18, 19. Now they're 20, 21. He's seen them grown all through the academy, and now he knows how they play. He trusts in those players. Why does he have to go to Europe and get a 20 million average player from Europe? He's put faith in these young players and it's working out great for him. That's the only thing. You need these managers to stay at clubs for longer periods of time in order for these young England players to get a chance at the big clubs.
Because it does seem that the English players, they kind of stall out right around age 19, right? 20, they don't really get
the
as much
opportunity.
time.
I mean, Chelsea have loaned out all their young English players. Tammy Abraham at Swansea, who is amazing.
He just got called into the senior England team.
Yeah, and Conte's complaining he doesn't have a squad. He's loaned out Lewis Baker. He was in Holland last year.
Loftus-Cheek is at Palace right now.
But Antonio Conte is not risking these young players in a senior team when his job's under threat. He's just not going to do it. He's going to put Eden Hazard. He's going to put Cesc Fabregas in there. He's going to put Willian in there. He's going to put Bakayoko in there. He's going to put these players which probably are better. They are better. But there's no reason why these younger players shouldn't get a chance.
The Premier League is almost too good for the sake of the actual English national team because, like you said, these younger players are not able to get the playing time that they.
But we see it at Tottenham right now. Harry Winks yesterday against Real Madrid, one of the best centre midfield performances I've seen since Jack Wilshere against Barcelona a few years ago.
So he'll get finally.
He's the new Jack Wilshere, Harry Winks.
He'll be playing for Bournemouth in 6 years.
But only time will tell how these England players will develop. I've just seen Connor over here just showed me an Instagram video of Sancho at Dortmund rapping in his car with Aubameyang.
Yeah, it's sick.
So follow Sancho and Aubameyang on Instagram.
What position does Sancho play?
He plays at the wing. He's Pulisic position, like number 10.
Pulisic,
He's a mini Pulisic.
Maybe you move Pulisic to the middle and put Sancho out on the wing.
Don't even know who Sancho is.
Yo, this is like kind of breaking.
He's this new up-and-coming player.
Patrice Evra in the Europa League game tonight kicked a fan in the face before the game even started.
Oh, shit.
Nice. Sorry about that interruption. It's
Did
random.
you see his
but-
Halloween costume?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Patrice Evra's social media is very good. I love this game. Do you dress up for Halloween, Mike?
Yeah, I dressed up.
What do you dress up as?
Guy having a midlife crisis.
Brilliant.
I just had a Hawaiian
With a
shirt
Reese's
on.
peanut butter cup coming out of his gob.
And I had like cigars, and I was just like, "What wife and kid? Let's party!" You know, it was fun.
I just filmed myself, but I was gonna.
Oh, you didn't dress up?
No, I dressed up on Saturday. I dressed up as a pencil.
Oh, all right.
What did you dress
Like
up as?
an actual pencil?
I didn't. He wore a pencil costume. I didn't dress up at all. I don't like Halloween.
I don't dress up either. This is the first time I ever did it, so it was fun.
Well done. Well, congratulations to England under 17 World Cup. Great summer for them. But now we've got MLS a little bit later. I know Connor's itching to get on those topics. But we have to talk about the game yesterday. We have to talk about Tottenham against Real Madrid. What do you mean? Why are you...
I don't know what I'm rooting for Dortmund, and I don't know what I'm watching.
Dortmund
both
are
games.
out. Dortmund
No,
are
they're
out.
not out. They're not technically out.
They will be though.
They will be.
Not if this Greek team shows up against
Cypriot.
Real Madrid. Wait, all right, you go on. You continue. I want to ask you these questions after.
Okay,
you,
I'm just gonna lay it out. I mean, we saw a performance of Tottenham Hotspur's stature yesterday against Real Madrid. 3-1 winners. I know Real Madrid have a ton of problems. Are we looking at this as a huge statement from Tottenham? Barring they did lose against Manchester United in the league at the weekend. But is this one of the greatest victories Tottenham Hotspur have ever had in Europe?
Oh, absolutely. You'd have to say that. I don't know. It's the whole Wembley thing. They seem to have more or less broken the Wembley curse. I know Mike's gearing up to say something.
It reminded me. I was watching both games. I had the Dortmund game on my computer and this game on the TV. It reminded me of the 2011 Inter Milan game when Bale tore up Inter Milan, and I believe Inter Milan was the reigning champion.
They won in 2010.
So it reminded me of that.
Didn't Inter Milan win that game?
No. Gareth Bale won that.
Huh?
The game at
San Siro?
No, they lost the game at San Siro.
Where they played at White Hart Lane and
White Hart Lane,
Peter Crouch scored and Bale was ripping down. It was like 3-1.
Bale killed on both games because he scored, I think, 3 goals 2 goals in the.
I'm really impressed to see how far Tottenham have come in 12 months in the Champions League. I remember seeing them 12 months ago in the Champions League, and they played, I think it was Leverkusen at home, and they couldn't even put 3 passes together. And they really struggled in Europe, and at Wembley especially. And then they went into the Europa League, and they got knocked around by Ghent, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Like home and away. And to see their progress, especially the 1-1 draw at the Bernabeu, the victory against Dortmund, the professionalism in Cyprus, and this home win against Real Madrid. Like I said, we know Real Madrid have got a ton of problems. They lost to Girona at the weekend. They're 8 points behind Barcelona. And they look... I know Tottenham were good, maybe great, and I really don't want to take a lot away from Tottenham, but I think Real Madrid were pretty poor in that game, and you could see this result coming, especially with the results Real Madrid have had in recent weeks.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard to accept right now because I know we've talked about it, and I think everyone has talked. Just Real Madrid is the best team in Europe, and then I watched the game this weekend against Girona, and it was a pretty evenly matched game. I mean, Girona had some really nice chances. They won 2-1, and then going to this game in the Champions League, and stuff can happen so fast in European soccer. Like, is Zidane's job in crisis? Is the whole team is the whole club in crisis? Might be too soon to say that, but it's definitely been a tough week, and if not a tough few months for the club at the start of this season.
I totally agree, and Dele Alli came out of the Bernabeu and said that he was really surprised with the amount of space they had at the Bernabeu. And I watched pretty much the whole game yesterday, and the first goal when Trippier was bombing down the right, Marcelo was, I don't know what the hell he was doing. We've always known Marcelo as an attacking left back, but he gave Trippier a ton of space, and I think in 5 minutes before that first goal happened, he had the exactly same crossfield ball, exactly the same first time cross, And Dele Alli didn't gamble the first time, and he did the second time, and they got punished. And it could have even been like 5 or 6-1. They missed chances. And to take Harry Kane off with 15, 20 minutes to go against Real Madrid, the reigning European champions.
Resting your best player for a game in the Premier League against who they play Crystal Palace on Sunday morning. Like, it just shows, it's just kind of a statement, huge statement win from Tottenham, who continues to climb up and up in both the...
And this was the first time Real Madrid have lost a Champions League game in 5 years. And the last team to beat them in the Champions League group stage was...
Dortmund.
And,
and the year when they went and won it?
And Dortmund went to the final, yeah. Dortmund went to the final. And that was the biggest defeat Real Madrid have had in Europe since Juventus 2008, 2-0 defeat. So... I mean, how far can Tottenham go in this competition?
They could win it. I mean, if they play like that, they can win it.
No,
I mean, they have that counter style. So, I mean, they looked great. Dele Alli, they looked great.
I mean, who else in the competition could take that type of game to Real Madrid? I mean, Barcelona got a 0-0 draw at Olympiacos right now. I mean, I know it's a long season and Real Madrid can bounce back. And form goes in and out the window throughout the season. I mean, the consistency is so hard. You just have to praise Pochettino and how well he's done. I mean, with the young team he's had, like Davis, even Sissoko coming on for Alderweireld in the first 20, 25 minutes. And to see Sissoko from Newcastle pushing through Toni Kroos and Luka Modric in the midfield, who would have known that? And Ben Davis, great all-round... game for Tottenham Hotspur.
One thing that's been good to see in the Champions League this year is, I think, all of us will agree about this, just as fans of the English game, is how well the English teams are doing after, for so many years being,
sucking.
Maybe mediocre to slightly above average. But other than Chelsea winning in that 2012, and then United the year before, or Chelsea losing they won in 2012, and United lost the year before that.
Oh yeah, 2 years in a row.
But it's been about 5 years of Spanish and German clubs, and even throw Juventus in there, the Italian clubs doing way more in the Champions League than any English team, and it's brought up so much criticism from pundits, fans, how good is the English league, all this stuff. But this season, it seems like the tides have turned a little bit, and one team that I think I don't think anyone's sleeping on, but the Manchester City is legit, man, and. What they do,
are they now the best team in Europe?
Like, Napoli is like an exceptionally good team, and over two back-to-back games for them to go into Naples and win 4-2, like they are killing right now. No, they played the first game 2 weeks ago in Naples.
Yeah.
Regardless,
No, they played in Naples yesterday.
Okay, that's what okay.
4-2.
So I don't know. They're like riding a nice wave right now, and Manchester City is. Mm-hmm. But they have to drop points at some point. I know like they play Arsenal this weekend, and I'm not even just saying this as like an Arsenal supporter, but they're gonna have to drop points at some point. It's hard to go play in Naples. That's like probably one of the hardest places to play in Europe.
Aguero as well, breaking the goal scoring record for Man City all time.
So you wonder if these games in Europe, the success they're having in Europe, will start to affect any form in the Premier League and tough test.
I mean, the thing is about Man City, they have coverage for every single position. I remember when Aguero came over, 6-7 years ago now, and every time he went down injured, people would, hold their breath and go, how are they going to cover that position? But they have an ultimate team. Bernardo Silva's gone down for a few weeks, but that seems to have been covered by Fabian Delph randomly, and they just look like the complete team. And I mean, what I just said is, who's the other team in the Champions League that can take a game like that to Real Madrid? Probably Man City is the only other team.
Don't sleep on PSG.
PSG. That's what I was going to ask.
PSG is
true.
Who do you who's the best team in Europe right now? Is it PSG or Man City? Right? It's between.
I think just because of the level of competition Man City are facing, I would have to say Man City, with PSG very close to them. Because, I mean, they can only beat the teams that are in front of them. PSG which is Nice every week.
PSG has dropped points a couple times already this season in the league. They tied Marseille.
They can afford to, though. I feel like just the attitude they can afford to.
If they obviously winning the French league is a priority for them, but I think this team is built for Champions League success, and that is what they are That's why all these
they've
players
already
are put together.
Yeah, they've already turned Bayern Munich over in the Champions League, and that's just proof that they can step up when needed.
Can I talk a little bit about the Dortmund?
Yeah, I've got this in my notes.
Okay.
I got Dortmund. They're in trouble. Good old Peter there from Ajax. He's sweating.
Is he Dutch?
He's sweating. He is Dutch. And he's sweating over his job. He's not even going over to the yellow wall, the famous Dortmund wall, at the end of the game. I mean, what a bad result yesterday. What a bad result
most
at the weekend.
stubborn coach, and I mean, the guy will not. He just goes with 4-3-3 no matter what. Like, he'll never change it. Like, they get beat on the counter for what? It's been a month and a half now. They're losing games in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who was it at the weekend? Hoffenheim? Hanover.
Yeah, Hanover. I mean, they went down a man, but and also too, Pulisic is. I think he's the best. I'm biased, but he's the best player on the team. Have you seen these games? I know. Listen, I know you guys are watching Arsenal right now, but listen, you have to watch this kid play. When he gets the ball, he's one of the best, I think, in the world from the halfway line to about the 18-yard box. Then his finishing, everything, he needs probably a little more, whatever. But put him at the 10. They got to do something else because it's.
Yeah. I think
you can't beat Sparta FC or whoever. Who are they playing? What Apple? Is it a Greek team?
Yeah,
Cyprus.
Whatever. Oh, they're Cyprus.
Cyprus. So I mean, it looks like they're out, and even with the way they're playing right now, they might be out of Europe. All types of Europe, and so no spring European competition for Dortmund. That could happen.
Well, I know. That's yeah.
Not to just to give Dortmund a little bit of credit. When that group was announced, I think that was pretty widely accepted as the group of death. With
watching the footage of Patrice Evra right now kicking a fan in the holy.
Can't do that. All right. No, but that was the group of death, and obviously, no disrespect to Apoel, they were always in a struggle to get out of that group. But then,
but can I ask you guys this though? Okay, so because now Apoel and Dortmund are on 2 points, Real Madrid's on 7, correct?
Correct.
And Tottenham's on 10. Tottenham's in no matter what.
Correct.
So I think Dortmund plays Tottenham the next game.
Correct.
I believe it, or is it Real? I think they play Tottenham the next game.
No, they play the last game. It's you want to find that out for us because I think it's mirrored. The fixtures are mirrored.
Yeah, your first game is your last game in the group.
Okay, all right. So they're going to play Real Madrid this next game, so they can beat.
Away.
It's at the Bernabeu.
Away.
Yeah. It's and they have to. Obviously, they're not going to win that game.
All right.
But if they
play, you said this, but they play. Tottenham is playing at Dortmund Tuesday, November 21st.
All right.
Okay,
that's the next round.
All right.
So Dortmund have to win that, and Real Madrid have to draw or lose against Apoel next year.
Are they in Apoel? Or are they at the Bernabeu?
At Apoel.
That's a shot. We got a shot because Apoel is going to be playing.
What do you mean we?
Too. Well, I'm a Dortmund. Come on, I grew up in Dortmund. And no, dude, if Real Madrid, because then soccer's crazy with these points and everything, and trying to figure it all out. Do I want to root for a draw? Do I want to root for? I can't figure out how to even be a fan for this shit. Do you guys? You know what I mean? Like in these groups.
I mean, I just root for my team to win.
Just fucking win.
That's the goal, right?
But now I got to be all dorky about it and be like, I hope they get a draw. Rooting for a draw is weird. I remember I used to bet soccer.
I mean, I want to talk about Zidane. I know you're disappointed about Dortmund. It looks pretty grim. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's going to have miracles have happened. But going back to Zinedine Zidane as well. I mean, do you think he is just this? He's holding on to his fame and stature as a Real Madrid ambassador, or do you think he's just a slightly better looking Avram Grant?
So what, as far as his managerial abilities?
Because he's there's not many great players that make great coaches. And I was thinking of this in the car coming over. I was like, well, Zidane can coach creativity. He can coach his position. He can create what he likes to see. But then you got to go back. It's like, well, does he really understand the structure of defending and goalkeeping and how he wants to play? I mean, tacticians like Pep Guardiola can see the whole field. Pep Guardiola was a great player himself, but he wasn't a world-class player. You know what I mean? And do you think he just has faults in those areas?
Well, I mean, potentially the whole thing with Zidane is like, is this too good to be true? Is this going to stop? Like, how is he even managing all these trophies that he's winning as a manager?
I think he loses his job before Christmas, honestly.
You think?
I think he does. I really do. If a few more results go against him, the Real Madrid start waving the... I mean, it's hard to wave the white handkerchief at Zinedine Zidane. You know, a god in that city.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, he's won 2 Champions League. He's won the league once. He's won the Supercopa, UEFA Super Cup, Club World Cup. I mean, he's has a pretty decent...
Zidane out.
No, he has a good resume. And
If when they fucking lose to Dortmund at the Bernabeu and Dortmund lost or tie, fuck him. He's done. I don't know. I sound so stupid right now, but no, I don't. I think
is this in your notes that you had?
No, I wrote some notes down, and they don't make any sense right now.
But yeah, I mean, the Champions League. I mean, when we first started this podcast, we were like, "Oh, the Champions League's boring. It's predictable." But now it's spiced up a little bit with these English teams doing very well. Man City did get to the semi-final last year, and kind of torn apart by Monaco. But I feel like the English teams are figuring out how to combat the Premier League.
Well, look at the managers now. You have Mourinho, experienced,
pretty much the same managers, but they're in their second season. A lot of them, Conte, Guardiola, Mourinho,
and even Pochettino, who is he's new. He has some newfound success as a manager, but is still highly regarded as not just a good English manager, a good manager across Europe. So I think that with the improved quality of foreign managers who are managing the top clubs, you've seen a step up from, the managers that were there before who weren't. I don't know. The managers are better. The teams are better. The more money's been invested in the squads, and there has been an improvement, and it's been good to see. Because regardless of what club you support, I think fans of English clubs deep down will pull for English clubs in these competitions.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea under a lot of pressure. Conte's under a lot of pressure right now. 3-0 losers at Rome. And then, I don't want to shout out to them, but worth to mention Liverpool as well, topping their group. But Manchester United, Chelsea this weekend at Stamford Bridge. I think Chelsea look pretty vulnerable, and it'll be surprising if Mourinho doesn't go there with the intent to win, considering the last few results that Chelsea have had.
You'd think he'd want to go to win, but you never know with Mourinho. Yeah. He might be fine with a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 draw. We'll see. Sunday should be a fun day of.
What's the table look like in the?
We'll get to that at the end. But are you enjoying this Champions League apart from your team, Mike, struggling to get out the group stages?
I always like the Champions League.
Right.
That's what I always say.
Okay.
No, I am enjoying it. I just I don't like when I actually do start rooting for a team. It is tough to figure out how, when your team isn't playing well, how do you root for it? Do you just pack it up and try to win the league? Like, how do you feel, Connor, watching Arsenal right now?
Emotionally disconnected, but I am watching the games. I don't know. I've watched next to no Champions League. I'm serious. I haven't watched any Champions League. I'm so detached right now from. I've been more into the MLS, honestly, than anything in Europe right now. I'm serious. Like, it's weird. I'm like, I have an identity crisis. I don't know what to do with myself.
It's just Arsenal aren't in it. I wasn't interested in the Champions League. I mean, for the last United, this is the first time United are going to get out of the group for 4 years. They're sitting pretty on 12 points right now, but they've 4 wins out of 4, scored 10, conceded 1. Can't ask for much more, even though.
So how do you feel about Mourinho now? How are you
winning games? That's it. Winning games. I mean, I think Manchester United entitled to play attractive football. We have been spoilt by Alex Ferguson for 20, 25 years, but he's getting results. They beat Tottenham Hotspur at the weekend 1-0. Or it could have gone either way, but he won the game. And at the end of the day, a Tottenham team who are flying high right now and one of their closest rivals won the game. I mean, you take the Huddersfield game out of the equation, then United have had a very good start to the season without playing some of the bang-bang football that they've played in the last 25 years. And as a United fan, yes, you want to see some more excitement. Yes, you want to see Lukaku score 2 goals every game, but it just doesn't happen. And Mourinho's Mourinho. In a couple of months, might be playing that attractive football that they started out with, the 4-0 wins. But a lot of goals are coming in the last 10 minutes, and there's nothing wrong with getting a 1-0 victory at home against Tottenham, who are one of the best teams in the league, if not Europe right now.
Solid.
But now that's the Champions League. I think Besiktas. I want to talk about Besiktas for a second.
Yeah, they're top of the group.
Yeah, Besiktas are top of the group. Surprise team in the Champions League right now, above Porto, Leipzig, and Monaco.
Is Besiktas? That's a Turkish team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to talk because I had some Besiktas fans in the bar the other day. They were going nuts. But that's it. But everyone prep yourself. Connor's rolling up his sleeves, wiping his nose. Take a deep breath. We are into the playoffs. The first round of knockout games have happened, which Connor will go through, and now we're on to the two-legged playoff games in the majorest league in the whole world. It is the MLS.
Okay.
MLS. MLS.
All right. Well,
no one's at these playoff games, by the way.
well, we'll talk about it.
Is anybody there?
Depends on where we're at. But all right, so I'm going to start. Last Wednesday was the first game, knockout round. I'm just going to round up pretty much everything for our listeners who haven't been following us closely or if you missed the games. Last Wednesday was the start of the MLS playoffs, starting off in the East. Chicago hosting the New York Red Bulls. I was disappointed with this game. I was excited for the playoffs to start. You turn it on, and there was nobody in Chicago. And after missing the playoffs for 5 seasons, and with what has been such an exciting season, with such an exciting team, I was hoping to see more. I mean, there was more fans there for every regular season game. I don't know what the city of Chicago.
There's more fans at the bar than the stadium.
I don't know what was going on last Wednesday in Chicago, but it was disappointing. I don't know, man. Chicago is such a good team, such a fun team to watch. It was. I don't know.
Do you feel like? I mean, does weather impact you going to sporting events if you're lacklusterly attached to that sport? I mean, I'm not going to go to a baseball game when it's 30 degrees outside. I'm just not going to do it. If Man United are playing, I'm going out to a 30 degrees weather. I know that the temperature's changing all around the country as we speak, but I mean, how many die-hard Chicago fans are actually in Chicago? Probably the amount that we saw at the stadium.
Apparently, because it looked like it was a chilly night. I know Chicago in general is a pretty cold city, being right there on the lake and whatnot, but
Big Chicago guy.
My Chicago knowledge is second to none. But it was just a flat performance from the whole city of Chicago. It felt like attendance was poor. The team came out poor. Red Bulls looked really good first game. Sasha Kljestan was nice. Bradley Wright Phillips, Tyler Adams. Yeah. We'll talk about him more in a little bit based on the last game against Toronto they played. But this is a good. He's making a good case for himself right now in these playoffs. But 4-0 win for the Red Bulls. Chicago never really got anything going. Their chances were few and far between, to say the least.
It was like a U17 game, Mike.
Oh, it was just up and down?
No.
It was just up.
It was up for the Red Bulls. But, you still have to give Chicago some credit for being arguably the worst team in the league the last 5 years, if not the worst franchise. Not just the worst team, but the worst franchise. Arguably, but to come back this year and finish third in the conference and play some really attractive footy at times with some exciting players. Sad that it ended the way it did. Credit to Red Bulls for going on the road and winning an important knockout game. That's the thing with a knockout game. It's not like a 2-leg series. I'll sit home, we'll see what happens in the next game. Or they're playing away this game, so if we lose 4-0, maybe I won't go to the home game. Yeah. This is a one-off knockout game. It's supposed to be it's good stuff. It really is. What else can you ask for from a soccer match? Especially when the MLS is criticized for, the regular season with the lack, it's just the structure of half the teams make the playoffs. This is what the season is really about in MLS, I feel like. And for no one to show up and for the team to show up the way they did, disappointing all around for Chicago, but
Chicago should move to Columbus.
Yeah. We'll get on to Columbus next, actually. Staying in the East, last Thursday night was maybe the best game of the entire season, if not one of the best games in league history. And it was a 0-0 draw in regular time and extra time for Atlanta and Columbus. It was wild, man. It was up and down. It was so open. Whole bunch. There was 41 combined shots. I think one of the big talking points was the offsides call in the 40th minute. Really bad officiating on a goal that Ola Kamara scored. Justin Merriam was played in, and he was about 2 to 3 yards on sides. It was pretty bad, and for VAR not to come into the equation, it was...
Where's VAR when you need it, dude?
That's what I'm saying. It's frustrating. Game went on.
But can you do that? Say the player's onside, the linesman raises his flag, the referee blows his whistle. You can't VAR that anymore. You should just let that play go on.
No, this is what happened, though. Guzan, the ball went in. Guzan, it was called offsides. Guzan immediately restarted the play. And Taylor Twellman mentioned in the broadcast, he's like, that was really smart from Guzan, because if there was some more time, that probably would have been reviewed.
Really?
But once the ball goes back in play...
Yeah, but wouldn't the goalkeeper, like, just... If the what I'm saying is, if the flag went up, the referee blew his whistle, and then the goalkeeper just stopped and, he just hit it in, you can't say that's a goal if the goalkeeper stopped because the referee blew his whistle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my understanding was that once the ball goes back in play, it can't be brought back on an offsides call. That could be wrong, but that was my interpretation of it. But Columbus went on to win 3-1 in penalty kicks. Zach Steffen had a masterclass. The Atlanta fans had another great performance. Disappointing to see Atlanta go out at this stage just because of what they've contributed to the league this year, but have to give credit to them and have to give credit to Columbus.
I just think that time will come. I spoke to an Atlanta fan at the bar on Tuesday, and they've already sold their season tickets out for next year in 3 hours.
Yeah, do you think that losses... I have a theory that crushing losses when everyone's into it do more for fandom than big wins.
There's
sometimes.
Definitely something to that because the whole city gets down about it. Then you can rally together on the team. You know what I mean? There is something. Yeah. There is something to be said about what a loss can do to a fan base.
This is
like you don't want to win.
This is a 30-30 story waiting to happen, right?
Seriously.
You don't want to go win the MLS, the MLS Cup in your first year. It's like, oh, we want it. It'll take away some of the drama. You need to build more.
There you go.
I like that. I like that.
I was rooting for Atlanta just because I wanted that stadium in the playoffs. I wanted Toronto to have to go down there.
Yeah, all the pundits are saying it's wild just being in that stadium. 72,000 people just shouting, singing, clapping.
Yeah, I was hoping. I don't know. We were talking about maybe a trip to the final, regardless of where it is, and Atlanta would have been.
That would have been dope.
Nice. Maybe next year. But. Another shout out to you have to Columbus, man. Like with all that's going on around the club right now, it seems like it is a pretty unsettling time for, I'm sure the fans, definitely the fans, and I'm sure it affects the players as well. And to go into a game where not many people gave them a chance of winning. I mean, on paper they're not that mismatched. Atlanta's probably a little bit superior, but Columbus is a nice squad. They're a good team.
Yeah.
To go into that environment and grind out.
And as everybody knows the story with Columbus going on right now, right?
We explained it in the last episode. If people haven't listened, the owner has decided to potentially move the club to Austin, Texas, and be a real shame. And I think we'll talk about that once we get to the home game that Columbus just hosted, because it was something, I don't know, Columbus was sick, man. When that stadium is full and with the black and yellow colors and the fans, it looks really attractive on the eye just to watch a game there. But so that was the knockout games in the East. On to the West, which has been pretty dreadful so far, all playoffs. Vancouver hosted San Jose and won 5-0. Freddie Montero, former Seattle legend, gets his first MLS playoff goal in his 11th appearance. San Jose just wasn't that good, and Vancouver did a good job of capitalizing on set pieces. Vancouver has won when they've had less than 40% possession in games, they've won like 11 games and lost 1. So they really thrive on not possessing the ball and scoring on set pieces. And they
need to sign PLO.
Vancouver? Yeah. But the game is played right into their hands. 1-0 at the half, and San Jose kind of just fell apart. But this has been like the only somewhat exciting game in the Western Conference up to this point. You had a good atmosphere there. 5 goals were scored. But besides that, the Western Conference has been pretty abysmal to watch so far. Moving on to the Houston.
So Freddie Montero, he used to be in the MLS. Anyway, is he in China?
He went to China, got a nice fat payroll, and then
now he's back?
Came back to Vancouver.
Full-time or loan?
No, he's full-time at Vancouver. The other knockout game in the West, Houston and Sporting Kansas City. Really bad crowd. I think it was like 8,000 people, they said. 5,000 people. Terrible.
Dynamo at Houston?
At Houston, yeah. And you think if the game was at Kansas City,
out of there.
It would have been sold out if it was at Kansas City. So not good to see. But Albert Ellis, the Honduran, scores in the 94th minute of extra time. 1-0 Houston. Not much else to say about that. But now on to the 2-leg series, which is where last year was so exciting. Most of the series were really, really good. This year, we'll see how the second legs go. But the first game was Vancouver and Seattle. No Clint Dempsey due to suspension for the red card he got the last game of the season. Last game of the regular season. He will be back tonight against Vancouver in the second leg. Yordi Reyna and Christian Teixeira were not in the starting lineup for Vancouver, which are 2 of their best attacking players. And there just really wasn't much to say about this game. Like I said, 0-0. Chances were few and far between. But you would think in Seattle tonight, with so much at stake for both clubs, it should be...
I think Seattle were there for the take, and I'm surprised Vancouver didn't get at least a goal in that game. But I think a result for Seattle.
Yeah, you think a good result for Seattle, but Vancouver still with no away goals given up, going away tonight with Teixeira and Yordi Reyna back. Could be a going tonight. I think it should be a pretty electric atmosphere in Seattle. New York Red Bulls versus Toronto first leg, 1-2 in favor of Toronto FC. Another really, really bad turnout.
I did watch this game. I thought it was a pretty good game, and I thought Red Bulls did very well, and they were very unlucky to go out of the game with a defeat. What was surprising though, not even surprising. Do you think Bradley and Outdoor deserve all these boos that they're getting right now? It's
a little over the top, I think, but at the same time, you should say like, oh, but that means our country's going to get better at soccer. If players are held accountable even when they're in their pro teams.
But like Beasley's not getting booed, Guzan's not getting booed. It's just those two.
Well, I mean, you got to think for terms of MLS, they're playing on the best team in the league, so obviously they're going to be disliked for that reason.
What did Outdoor say the next day? He said something mental.
Yeah, he did. He said there's no loyalty.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty.
Dude, I don't know. Like my dad watched the game and he texted me and he's like, I got mad when I saw Bradley in Altidore. I think that's like people. I don't feel that way necessarily.
I'll see him. I see their faces.
I think people legitimately.
Do you think no one's like going up to him in the streets getting their photo taken with him?
Yeah, they just like then just looking at the picture, going
putting an emoji, enlarged emoji over their face.
He said that because he played with Red Bull. That was his first club that
really?
He thought it would be better to him. He's like, I understand all the booing because of the World Cup. Like, nobody hurts more than the players.
They booed because of the World Cup. They didn't boo him because that was his first club. Come on.
Well, he said it got a little over the top. I don't know.
Well, yeah, there was some pretty not nice, offensive things said to him, and it's kind of made the news this past week. Just stuff that you should not be saying to a player.
Racist things or
something like that, and just not stuff that was crossed the line. Apparently,
I mean, Red Bulls have nothing to worry about. They have Bradley Wright Phillips.
Yeah, they got Sebastian. They got. What did Clayton talk shit about too? Like you just said, like the guy in his team sucks or something. I saw that too.
He's always chatting. He's like a polarizing guy, kind of. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Sasha needs to chill out.
It's Sasha and Benny Feilhaber. Both are kind of like weird. Like they both just talk shit.
Because they're kind of like in the similar situations as far as like the national team has panned out and like just their position in the whole U.S. soccer sphere.
Neither are gonna get another cap in their lifetime. Come on, are you serious?
I don't think. I mean, maybe question.
You think Benny Feilhaber's sitting next to his phone? What the fuck?
Siri.
Is that your alert to go do your WAD, dude?
iOS 11, mate.
Oh, you got iOS. That's fun. Yeah. I say
11.1.
congrats, and then my fucking screen turns into confetti. It's annoying. Worse. I hate all that shit.
What were your thoughts on
That's all
Tyler
right.
Adams?
I thought he was great. I thought he was given a lot. I thought he created a lot of freedom for himself. I thought he's just young, and I thought he was very creative.
What position does he play? They put him
He's
at
playing
right
the
back
right,
in this
yeah.
game.
Dude, they
Right,
play him
yeah.
at right back or like the right
He's got
side
a lot
of
of
the
energy.
midfield.
Just put him in the middle. Can't they just put him in the middle? Or I guess it's
Well, that's
they
where he
must-
should be playing because
Questions,
he's
though.
not an attacking midfielder though. Questions plays as a number 10. It was funny. I was on like the MLS's website just reading their recap, and like in parentheses they were like Tyler Adams played in the midfield. In parentheses they're like where he should probably be playing. So like even like whoever's writing like for the official league statements is like
Yeah.
you got to stop wasting this kid at right back.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played well. Don't think Toronto will have too much trouble in the home leg with 2 away goals. They still look like the team to beat in the league, and they just look so much sharper.
I thought Red Bulls were the better team that game, and like I said, they were very unfortunate to lose the game. I think if you take Giovinco out of that team, they are nothing. I don't know. I haven't seen
Also,
enough
too,
of
you know,
Toronto.
think about-
Dude, Toronto is
He holds the ball up so well. His turns, he attracts free kicks in and around the box, and the winning goal was a free kick at the edge of the box. Robles, whatever his name is, the goalkeeper, and he was just.
But that's what Kleischer was talking crap about. The guy who was supposed to be back there guarding the post. And
It was weird. It was like the guy tried to head it, but he was nowhere near it, and the goalkeeper knew it was going to go that side.
No, I saw the interview. Kleischer's like,
so-
yeah, the guy's supposed to be back there, but I don't know what he was doing. He should have been back there.
It was like a penalty kick for Giovinco. I mean, and he got the free kick himself. He looks very dangerous. It's Giovinco, and he's definitely up for MVP again, I think.
You think so? He scored since his time in the league. He scored like I think it's 14 free kicks. The second player has scored 2. Like he's just wicked nice at the free kicks.
You know, thinking about Bradley and Altidore, though, it's like they didn't put in the effort in Trinidad. They didn't come out on fire. They play in Canada. They don't even play in America.
Canada.
It's like, dude, I might have booed him.
Yo, if you're American, you have to play in America. That's the
That's
rule.
right, bro. Yeah. No, because they don't probably even get no one who's going to boo them at their home stadium. You know. I don't know, but you know what? That probably motivates them to even play better. So they'll probably even do. You know, I think they're going to walk away with this whole MLS Cup.
We'll see. I mean, I thought Red Bulls played pretty well, and they're
2 away goals,
They're one of the teams on form, especially that 4-0 win. But it was, I mean, with Toronto not playing for a week or so, to see them win at New York, strong favourites to go through to the conference finals.
Yes. So moving on to back to the West, Houston versus Portland, first leg. Another pretty abysmal turnout. And
I want Houston to get to the final so we can go to Houston and grab people from the scruff of the neck and take them to the stadium.
seriously, man, it's bad. And then all the field.
Also, I mean, Houston is that have problems this year, but
not in baseball games. They didn't have problems.
yeah, but they have. I mean, they have, yeah, but I mean, there's the flood.
Hurricanes and
Just the
Hurricane.
soccer fans were affected. Just soccer fans.
Oh,
I mean, you
shout
make
out
you make
to
a good
Houston
point.
Astros.
Maybe they're probably the whole city's caught up in the Astros. Probably they don't want to go.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Saving their money for those $200 World Series tickets.
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
dude,
Keep moving your microphone around, Mike. Just keep
Is
moving
my
it.
microphone annoying you?
Just
Is it making
just
tons of
keep
noise?
moving
Dude,
that
you gotta
fucking
give me a
thing
different
around.
microphone. I hate
You
this
gotta
microphone
give
anyway.
me
You know I
a
fucking hate this
microphone.
microphone. I
You're
don't like the way it sounds. Secondly, all the Dynamo needs to do, they need to get a Cuban
Dynamo.
player. Whatever. All they need to do is get a Cuban player who makes fun of Asian people, and then the stadium be full. Like, this guy's awesome.
Hot take.
Hot take. That was a hot take, folks.
But
Hot take shit.
despite the draw 0-0, Houston may have come out the better team because Portland has some serious injury issues after this game. Darlington Nagbe will be out.
Yeah, I saw that.
for the
Ton
next
of
game.
injuries. Yeah. He limped off. I saw
Diego Chara broke his foot. Portland has not won a game since 2015 that Diego Chara has not played in. And especially with just the physical donkey nature of MLS playoffs, you need a player like Chara in your midfield. So
Phil was shit as well.
yeah, terrible. Merritt Paulson, the Portland owner, ripped into the field on Twitter. So despite them returning to Portland, Houston hasn't won a game on the road in like 2 years either. So it's like a lot going in, but with these players
But
missing,
they made the playoffs.
Hey.
yeah, imagine not winning a single game on the road in 2 years. But here's the playoffs.
It's like you guys are
Jack
gonna.
Wilshere almost just scored. Okay, but you think Houston can maybe get an away goal in Portland?
Well, what's
Interesting
the
things can
aggregate?
happen.
What's the aggregate?
It's
0-0.
0-0. So Portland at home, you can't ever. They have to be the favorite, but things might not be as pretty as you would potentially think. But moving on to the best game of the knockout stage, or the two-leg series so far, the conference quarterfinals conference semifinals was definitely the Columbus and New York game, Halloween evening. Definitely a pretty special occasion for the city.
Let's start from the beginning. What were we going to do last week?
All right, so we were going to drive out to Columbus for the game as support our beloved NYCFC. A few work things didn't work out for our little band of travelers, so we ended up not going. So
We were about to up until the day before.
Yeah, as of Monday,
we were very close.
Monday morning we were going. By Monday afternoon we were not. So disappointing, of course, but I guess we didn't miss too much though, because New York got battered pretty good. But definitely a special occasion for the city of Columbus. I don't know if you guys saw on College Game Day at ESPN for the Ohio State-Penn State game. Like, everyone holds up the signs. Half the signs were like "Save the Crew." There was huge crew banners. It was like really cool to see actually that the whole city is behind this movement.
The sponsors have got to come out and
What did the announcers for the football even know what was going
No,
on?
the announcers didn't, but of course, like every MLS guy on Twitter is like tweeting pictures, and it was cool to see. It really was how the city
That's
has
what's
supported
all
that.
that. It must be a frat.
They made the MLS finals 2 years ago against Portland, right?
Yes, and lost at home.
And they reached out to, I think, 15 big-time businesses in the city. Only two replied.
Oh,
Two.
For what?
To sponsor the crew for the for that game, the final game.
Sick.
Like, this is why they're going to move. No, I mean,
they need a better sales department.
Well, listen to this. So this was
There you go. This is probably
the
a job
owner,
opportunity.
the controversial owner Anthony Precourt was at the game, and some of the gates were locked before the game. The gates that would normally be open for fans to get in were closed. So there was a huge congestion at a few gates, which limited the amount of fans that could be in the stadium on time. So the theory right now is that the gates were locked so that pregame shot of the stands, the stadium's half empty, so it looks bad. Because otherwise these gates would have been open. So it's like the conspiracy theory right now that because it looked empty, but by the 10th, 15th minute, it was pretty much full. It was full.
Yeah,
And
I saw the second half. It looked
dude,
packed.
it was great, man. I don't know, something about that stadium when it's full with the black and yellow colors. It's a good.
If the MLS has
it's
a
good
classic
site.
stadium, it's probably the only one. If the MLS has any history, it's that place probably.
One of
And maybe Galaxy, right?
one of
tear
the classic
tear the
stadiums.
stadium to the ground. It's done.
No, I mean all these stadiums.
It's
If you can't
done.
get people
It
to come,
looks
just
old,
fucking
it's-
leave.
Come on.
No,
They
but
should-
It looks like a League One stadium. Let's be honest.
it's MLS, bro.
Right.
But like, how about the Fire really should leave Chicago.
The problem is these teams aren't in the city
Chicago's
itself.
Still, I mean, yeah, Chicago's. I mean, there's a huge market in Chicago. Come on.
The stadium is too far out of the city. It's in Bridgeview,
Yeah, I know.
whatever. It's one of the suburbs.
It's got to be in the city. But I bet you could put a stadium in any city with 300, 400,000. Dude, you could put the Chicago Fire. You could put them in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. It would sell out 30,000 every game.
Yeah.
Any of these places that don't have professional sports that have a big population, you can just go
You
there.
think like the city of Chicago is like too big, and you can't put one in Boston because it's too big. New York City is too big. You need to have that. I mean, Atlanta's a huge city, and look what they're doing. But
Yeah.
some place like Orlando, middle ground
Well,
city, that's where the attraction.
That's
is
what
gonna
Anthony
be.
Precourt, the Columbus owner, said is that you see the success of these clubs in these mid-major markets like Kansas City or Orlando, and it's like
Even Seattle is mid-major. It's not like a...
more or less, yeah, you're right. And it's like this is where the soccer is thriving right now for the most part, is in these mid-markets.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, I mean, I would say Columbus is probably smaller than a mid-market, but there is, dude, you can't take the Crew out of Columbus. You can't do it.
Well, I mean, you think about a team in Austin, it would blow up. Your only
Nah, bro.
competition
Look at-
is Texas.
Look at the turnout in Houston and Dallas, man.
Well, it needs to
abysmal.
regenerate, and maybe one of those clubs will leave. Houston will leave. I mean,
Yeah, but Austin is so like liberal and hipster. Like they would like eat it up.
You
know
think
what
so?
I mean? Yeah,
Maybe they would.
eat it up.
Maybe they
Yeah.
would.
how did the game go itself?
It was Sean Johnson probably had his worst game of the season, who is one of the best keepers in MLS for New York. It's just
Donkey.
disappointing to see. Columbus looked great. It looks like they're just going to ride this wave of controversy and additional fan support. And
Do you think that's spurring them on though? The what am I looking for? Uncertain future for the club. Do you think that's egging on the players, like motivating them to do well in the playoffs?
I think so because
Yeah.
I mean,
so.
they're great game against Atlanta away, and then especially this one at home against the second ranked team in the overall standings.
Well, yeah, number 2 in the Supporters Shield and number 2 in the East. And just, dude, it sucks that every year New York in the playoffs, they're so great, and they're top 5 in the league. In their last 2 years, they've been top 5 in the league in the regular season. Get to the playoffs, and it's a different beast. But you have to give some credit to the Columbus team and the players, and they looked really, really good. They came to play. When David Villa got that goal to make it 3-1 with the away goal, you scored 2 goals at Yankee Stadium on Sunday, and you're right back in the fixture. But the last goal that Harrison Awful scored when he pretty much embarrassed the NYCFC defense, may have been the nail in the coffin. Any chance for New York in the second leg?
I think they're
need 3
done. I
goals.
think they're done. I mean, the elbow, the VAR decision, the sending off changed the game. I think Jack Harrison was awful.
He looks tired.
His touch was off. I thought they were rusty overall, and the fact that Toronto can go a week or so without playing a game and come back strong and win away from home, NYCFC can't seem to do the same. They look like they haven't played in like a month or so, those players. They went 1-0 down to a goal, and then the sending off happened. That definitely changed the game, and they just looked very intimidating, and a lot of the players didn't look comfortable out there.
Villa looked good.
Yeah, he looked okay. He should have. He had a couple chances he had one chance in the first half, especially that he should have finished. But the red card was so disappointing because that's New York's best defender. Alex Callens is.
He was an idiot for what he did. So that went to VAR.
That went to VAR. You think that was the right call?
So they're down 4-1. What time's the game on Sunday?
5 o'clock. Want to meet us?
You want to go?
We're going.
Yes, I do.
We'll be there.
I said I would.
We'll be there.
We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave at like 1:15 straight after the Man United Chelsea game.
All right, I'm waking up really early because I'm watching my cousin's running the marathon. So I'm watching the whole marathon, then I'll meet you guys up there.
Okay, all right. There'll probably be like a couple of fans there around the stadium.
All
We're
right.
going to be pretty much there at kickoff time, so.
Okay.
All right. I'll have a little piss up, but I mean, I know everyone's optimistic. I mean, you can't have Patrick Vieira coming out and saying the tie's done, or any of the players saying the tie's done.
I'm optimistic.
They got to fight, but 3-0 at home, it's going to be tough. If Columbus get one, then New York City have to. The way they played on was it Monday night? Tuesday night, there's no evidence to say that they're going to win 3-0 against Columbus, who are running high right now. Away victory at Atlanta, 4-1 victory at home. They're on form. You can't
Columbus
see it.
they're unbeaten in I think 11 matches now, going into back to the regular season.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they're like probably, other than like you said Toronto, they're probably the hottest team in the league right now. So momentum is definitely in Columbus's.
What's your prediction?
Side.
Who's in the final? Let's get some predictions right now.
I'm going to go Houston, Columbus.
No, I'm
Whatever.
gonna say I think
All right. That's that outrageous. There's only 6 teams left. So outrageous, Sam. What are you talking about?
no, it's gonna be
And like Columbus are probably going to get to the conference finals. So that nails it down
Columbus
to 2.
Toronto 2-game conference final is gonna be lit if that's what happens. That will be lit. But I think it's got to be Toronto and
Portland. You're going to go for the obvious.
no Vancouver.
That's what I'm going for.
Right.
The obvious.
Yeah, bullshit. What,
Portland.
you go for Portland.
First of all, I'm a Portland fan. You know that. It's a Portland-Toronto final. As long as Nagby comes back.
All right. I'm going Houston, Columbus, Portland, Toronto, and then I don't care what he says. No, who are you going for?
He said Vancouver, Toronto.
Vancouver, Toronto, I think, but I don't.
And
I
the
don't know.
Toronto win is the
The Eastern Conference has been so much more enjoyable to watch so far in the playoffs that the Western Conference games are kind of a grind to watch at all. But tonight should be a good one. Tune in to FS1 at 10:30 p.m.
Tune into that on your favorite device, Sling TV. spectrum.
Nice.
So what are you doing this weekend, Michael? Probably going to go ghost again.
What's up?
Probably going to go ghost again.
Let's go. So just not return phone calls and
Yeah,
texts and stuff like that.
texts, yeah.
First of all, I've been around. What am I doing this weekend? I gotta, I was gonna come back. I was gonna come upstate.
Right.
I have nothing. There's nothing.
Why are you coming up and then going back down for the game?
Well, I was going to, but because I had a show, but I decided not to do it. So, because I want to make sure I'm there. I'm going to the marathon on Sunday. So
Nice. New York Marathon. If anyone's down in New York City, the marathon's going on.
That's
Running down the Premier League fixtures, I'm not going to do the fantasy this week. We're running out of time. We do have a... Well, let me run down this, and then we have a question on Twitter. Stoke versus Leicester. Leicester emerging, new manager. Look comfortable mid-table. Stoke at home. Huddersfield, West Brom. Newcastle, Bournemouth, Southampton, Burnley, Swansea, Brighton, West Ham, Liverpool. Not any wow fixtures on that Saturday, but it comes down to Sunday. Spurs at home to Crystal Palace. Big game, Man City against Arsenal. Chelsea against Man United, and the lackluster Everton against Watford, who are managerless right now. They have sacked Ronald Koeman. I don't know if we've done a podcast since Ronald Koeman's been sacked.
No.
But Everton in the bottom three, and out of Europe as of today. They lost against Lyon away from home. Do we see
Rooney going to retire?
Rooney's not going to fucking retire, is he? At 30, he just went to Everton. He wants to be a part of it, but they look lost. They look. Sam Allardyce, I guess, is in talks as today to take over the club, but they look in disarray right now. And playing against Watford, who had a bad result last weekend after getting a few good results. All right, why are you waving?
Dortmund, Bayern.
Oh, yeah,
Saturday.
it's Dortmund, Bayern. Did we mention that earlier?
No.
I don't think so.
Dortmund, Bayern. If you come to the bar, we're giving away a Christian Pulisic jersey.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I tried it. I tried it on.
I'll be there.
I tried it on yesterday. I was wearing it closing up yesterday. It was an extra large. It fit pretty well. I was like, how is this an
Is it a
extra
yellow
large?
or
Puma,
black?
bro. It's Puma. That's why an extra large fits.
I could barely get my head through it.
Dude, it's Puma. I
It's
buy
really
when
tight.
I bought an Arsenal jerseys the last 2 years. I buy an extra large. They fit.
I got a
odd,
Puma
but-
jacket right here.
Huh?
Nice.
Puma jacket.
I was surprised
guess
how
what?
well it
XL.
fit. I know, but I see Dortmund and Arsenal, and it's like super tight. I don't want to be walking around the streets in a super tight footy jersey with Pulisic on the back. I don't wear footy jerseys really anymore anyway. Although I was
Is it a black
researching
one or yellow?
Las Vegas FC lights. You see that logo? The Las Vegas logo?
No.
It's nice.
Future MLS club.
Not MLS.
Oh, it's going to be.
No, it's not.
It's going to be. All right.
I actually like this question we have here. It's a nice one.
Okay, all right.
Sigs FC has tweeted us. Shout out to Sigs
_rebirth.
back again, rising like a phoenix from the ashes. Sigs
Like a
FC.
Didier Drogba.
Worst player in your lifetime at your club with a minimum of 10 appearances. So that's pretty much anyone, but at least it's not a one appearance type of guy. So it needs at least a minimum of 10 appearances. Worst player at your club.
Ooh. Well, Mike's going to be here for an hour and a half.
Because he has so many clubs.
Yeah, it's tough.
Let me think. I mean, there's a lot at United, especially in the Fergie era, even though he gets a ton of credit. There's Dejemba, and one of my friends called him Dejombre. He was pretty bad. What was that homeless guy called? Beppe? I don't know if he played 10.
Oh, yeah,
though.
Beppe, yeah.
He was pretty awful.
Or Bebe.
Bebe. He was pretty bad. The worst player who's played 10 games or more for United, it's got to be Tim Howard, right? No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking on that one. I don't know. Do you have one? Let me think about it for a second.
I think I probably have a couple. Just because there's been a decade of the banter era at Arsenal. I would have to say Squillaci is up there. Andre Santos, Brazilian left back, is up there.
Oh, by the way, Houston Dynamo have Philip Senderos.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I saw him. That's amazing. When I saw him nearly score and walk away all confused, I was like, that's Philip fucking Senderos playing for Houston Dynamo.
That was
Anyway.
a decent little pickup they made this year.
Is he a DP?
I would certainly hope not. What a waste of resources he is. No, he actually hasn't been that bad for the club, as much of a banter signing as it might be. Now I'm gonna say, dude, I don't know. Andre Santos was pretty horrendous at Arsenal.
I think I don't know. If I'm gonna go for recent, dude, Memphis Depay, right? Depay has been pretty. Do we still even have him?
No, he's at Lyon. He might be on loan though.
I think he's probably at loan. Memphis Depay was awful, and I don't see him resurrecting his career at Manchester United anytime soon.
He seems like a nice little fit in League One or Ligue 1. It's a good spot for him.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Depay or Sebastian Varane as well, who was regarded very high at the time when we bought him, and we did.
That's not a bad one.
We did recoup a lot of money. So, but if we're going recent, I'm gonna go for Memphis Depay.
Here, Mike, to guide this question more towards you, who's the worst player for the U.S. national team?
That's exactly what I was going to say, because I can't.
Yeah.
With 10 caps is tough. But I was thinking about it, and I got to go with Jonathan Bornstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you ever remember watching him play in the 2008 to 2011 era? It's a little bullshit too. He really wasn't that bad. He just had some really bad little fuck ups. I mean, little screw ups. And he was a Bob Bradley guy. Like, he was just going to be playing no matter what. So yeah, Bornstein. I mean, you want to go, what's his name? Wondolowski, but
Wando had that nice little Gold Cup run though. His first time in the national team, he scored 6 goals in the Gold Cup.
Plus, too, I just don't like to disparage Americans, No, but seriously, I don't know what that giggle was, but seriously, I don't really think about anybody, because if they play 10 caps, they're probably pretty good for a national side,
You know what was crazy, just from watching the MLS playoffs? The fact that Breck Shea is killing it. No, he's not killing it. He's just a soccer player. How is that dude? That guy is capped for the national team.
And he plays for the best team in the Western Conference. I saw him. I texted you.
He's playing left back. What position?
I
is he
have
left
no
wing.
idea where he's playing. He's playing hovering. He's levitating.
His body type is so weird. It's so odd to watch that dude play, because he's tall and kind of big.
6'3". Yeah.
But he's, I don't know, man.
He looks like a fat Fabio Capello.
He does. Shout out to Red Star Belgrade's manager. I don't know. Yeah,
so one of the funniest things you ever said was when he went to the Orlando City game or whatever. Or was that the one? Or
we were yelling, "Where's Breck Shea?"
Yeah,
outside the stadium. People were like, "What?"
I want my money back.
Outside of Orlando Stadium. Seriously, it was questionable, the stuff we were yelling, but we were fired up.
All right.
Yeah. Gotta wrap it up.
Is that it, lads?
Gotta wrap it up.
Any more questions?
Let me just say real quick what the upcoming schedule is for the MLS.
Who you
playoffs.
got anyway this weekend? Chelsea, Man United, and then Man City, Arsenal.
3-1 City over Arsenal, and then 2-1 United over Chelsea.
All right.
Here we go with MLS schedule for the remainder of the playoffs, or at least for what's upcoming tonight. As we said, Seattle, Vancouver, 10:30 p.m. on FS1. That series is at 0-0 after the first leg. Nothing until Sunday, which is a big day. Toronto Red Bulls at 3 o'clock on ESPN. New York City versus Crew. We will be there at Yankee Stadium at 5 o'clock on ESPN. And then wrapping up the triple header is Portland versus Dynamo at 7:30 on FS1. That is the upcoming.
Nice.
And then returning on Tuesday with the conference finals.
I'm excited. But thanks guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mike, for joining us finally.
Thank you for inviting me.
Appreciate it. This episode is sponsored by Outback Steakhouse, where on Wednesdays you can get a 6-ounce steak for $9.99 and some fries and a beer. Walkabout Wednesdays.
Is that true?
Well, Connor and I, we're starting a new podcast.
Oh, all right. That's cool.
Podcast, maybe a YouTube series. Every Wednesday we go to a different lunch spot in the Albany area. Literally every Wednesday. We've been doing it for months, and
Some of the lunch deals are so insane at restaurants. Like, how can you even afford
cheap.
to?
We went to Olive Garden. I've never been to Olive Garden or Outback Steakhouse. And
Why do you say it like a question? Have you ever been to Olive Garden? It's Olive Garden.
I feel guilty going to like chain restaurants.
It's all
but...
you can eat shit. For like $10.
Oh, dude, $8, all you can eat salad and soup. I'm like, I had like 3 bowls.
Have you ever been
soup.
to the Chinese buffets too? It's freaking great.
We're gonna go to Capital Buffet at some point.
You got to go to Golden Corral if you want the good stuff.
Oh my god.
We ate Moroccan today. We ate Moroccan lamb today.
Oh yeah, no, Indian buffet is the best but you can't do more than 1.5 plates.
We gotta go spicy mint. Yeah. So. Yeah, this episode is.
I used to go to the Indian cafe by myself and just sit there like a weirdo at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, just scarf it down.
Are you sure you're up at that time?
Dude, I eat lunch.
Eating that orange chicken all the time.
I eat lunch alone in public like 3 days a week. It's so.
I know.
It's just my life now.
You're ready for that weird life. You're that weird guy.
Right.
I like it.
Dude, I actually like it too. But I love. Here's the thing, though. I like to sometimes get food and then go eat in my car, like a real weirdo, and like listen to a podcast.
I remember we used to work on that Thursday. I used to order at Cafe 217 and then just pick up the to-go box and just eat half of it on the way to mine.
Yeah. That's I love eating in the car. I don't. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, and then put the leftovers in the bag and then we're there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, shout out to Cafe 217. Can we get that? We can get them to sponsor us.
Yeah, we'll try. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Enjoy the playoffs. People in Houston are not enjoying the playoffs, but yeah, enjoy the playoffs. A lot of good footy to be played. Enjoy the weekend's Premier League fixtures, and we shall see you next time. In a bit.
Bye guys.